Hey guys, what's up? How we doing? All right, we got lots of people waiting in here. Good to see. All right. So, episode 16 of Coaster Cafe. Probably all of you in here know how this works by now, but we're going to talk about the coffee I'm drinking. We're going to discuss news in the amusement park industry, and then we're going to do trivia. Got two trivia questions for you, and then it'll just be general Q&A after that. So, while we're doing all this, try to think of some really good, interesting questions to ask me. Maybe something different. So try to think of some good questions while we're doing all this. And thanks all you guys for joining. We got quite a few people in here already, I see, which is awesome. So um, we'll get to that stuff, guys. Don't worry. we'll get to that stuff in the news. Just patience. All right. But yes, what am I drinking? Well, I decided to get my Maverick mug today to go along with my Maverick shirt. So I'm repping Maverick, and I got some good coffee today. I just got this in the mail yesterday. Atomic Coffee Roasters. This is just I wanted to try a new kind of coffee, so I just looked for some coffee online. I just ordered this on a whim. I had no idea how it'd really be. Smells amazing. Oh my gosh. It smells so good. Yeah, it smells amazing. It tastes great. I made it in the French press last night, and I've also made it drip how I'm drinking it now. Mm, it is so good. It's really good. It's described here. Let's see. It's a medium roast. It's called Rocketeer Blend. Um, it's from the Americas, Southeast Asia. That's the region. And it says taste notes, full body, smooth, chocolate, sweet spices. I guess my tastes aren't fine enough to taste all those, subtle notes of everything, but I'll take their word for it. I guess those notes are in there. But this coffee tastes fantastic. So yeah, Coaster Cafe. That's right. This is Coaster Cafe. So yeah, that's what I'm serving today at Coaster Cafe. We have our Atomic Coffee Roasters Rocketeer Blend. Just a random coffee I found online. I decided to take a chance at it, and it was worth it. If I had to give it a rating, I'd say like an 8.5 out of 10, probably, maybe even a 9. It's really good. It's definitely grown on me too. All right. With that out of the way, I think we'll get into our news. We have some really exciting stuff to talk about. I see some people getting impatient in the chat, already bringing it up. But yeah, I will address that in this news segment. But first, I'm going to list everything off real quick. So I'm going to list off all of the news, and then we will discuss. I mean, realistically, today we're probably only going to be discussing one thing, but so here's what's going on. Universal Orlando has put out a survey for guests to ask how they feel about changing things when they reopen. And bear with me here, there's a long list of questions that they were asking. They asked, should all guests be required to wear face masks? Should attraction seats be wiped down between each ride cycle? Should a virtual queue system be put in place for nearly all attractions? Should parades and night shows be closed for the time being? Should indoor attractions and/or shows be closed for the time being? Should all guests be required to pass a rapid results test before entry? Should all employees take the rapid test before work? Should guests and employees have to pass a temperature screening before entry? Should park attendance be limited? If so, what point? 75%, 50%, or 25%? So yeah, that was a lot to take in there. But we also have Universal Studios Hollywood has removed their sets from the Grinch movie from 2001. That's sad for me to hear. I love my Christmas movies, and that's a movie I enjoy. And those sets aren't at Hollywood Studios anymore, or Universal Studios Hollywood. Energylandia is set to reopen May 16th. A Florida task force has been placed to look at how to reopen theme parks and when they should do it. Lake Winnie, or its full name, Lake Winnipesaukee, is not reopening on May 2nd when the rest of Georgia does, as the Georgia rules put in place for reopening don't address an amusement park model their reopening procedures. Alabama Splash Adventure set to reopen May 16th, or set to open May 16th, I should say. Kentucky Kingdom plans to reopen early June. No exact day yet, though, but they have filled 800 out of 1,400 positions for employees. Many Pigeon Forge attractions are planning to reopen May 1st. That's important. Attractions. Paulton's Park in the UK, their new Tornado Springs area will not be able to finish for the 2020 season due to the pandemic, so it'll open in 2021. Six Flags Qiddiya, the construction site is very active, so they're very actively working on the Six Flags Qiddiya project. And of course, the last thing, the most exciting thing, the greatest thing. This is so good to hear. Indiana Beach has announced a new owner. His name is Gene Staples, a businessman from Chicago. I'm so excited about this news. Oh my gosh, Indiana Beach is back, guys. And this is incredible. Yeah, Gene Staples, a businessman from Chicago. He has some history going to the park. And he has good memories of taking his kids to amusement parks, including Indiana Beach when they were younger. It seems like he's really dedicated to, the history of the park, and he really wants to preserve that Americana feel, and he wants to turn it into an awesome, family-owned Midwest amusement park again. So it looks like he has really good intentions with the park, and I wish him the best of luck. And of course, whether it opens up back up this year, or we more than likely, see it, or we more than likely get to go next year, like for myself, whenever Indiana Beach reopens, we all need to get out there and support them. We need to support all the parks when they open back up, of course, and we will, but we need to be especially supportive of all these smaller parks. And whenever Indiana Beach reopens, we need to support them so they can, have success in the future. I hope this has taught all of you that we really need to support these parks. It's really important. So whenever Indiana Beach reopens, and I'm sure a lot of people will, but we need to get out there and support Indiana Beach. But I'm so excited to say that Indiana Beach is no longer closed. Indiana Beach is back and ready to go. They're retracking the Hoosier Hurricane. They're starting to get things ready for whenever they do open. He does want to open it up this year. Depending on what happens, they might not be able to. But in any case, Indiana Beach is reopening in the future. Kentucky Kingdom will not have keys to the kingdom. If they're planning on opening in June, they're not going to have that. I mean, I don't know if it's postponed or canceled or whatever. I have no idea. Yeah, he did. He went to Six Flags Great America too. He did name drop that specifically. But yeah, you hope they still have tacos at Indiana Beach. I heard great things about those tacos, so I hope they do as well. If you guys haven't seen it, the local Monticello, Indiana newspaper called News and Review, you can go to their Facebook page. They did an interview with Indiana Beach's new owner, and they released like the first half of that interview. And there's a lot of really good stuff in there. And he talks about like some of the things he wants to see at the park, and they ask him questions about how he's going to handle some of the things. And it's a really interesting read. So go check out News and Review and read that. They're also going to be releasing like a second half of the interview at some point as well. So go check that out. Man, this coffee is so freaking good. Mm. Oh, can't get enough of it. Good stuff. But yeah, So excited to say that Indiana Beach is back. Um, as far as Fantasy Island goes, I mean, this isn't news or anything. I'm just kind of rattling off the top of my head about Fantasy Island. As far as Fantasy Island in New York goes, I've seen pictures of that place, and they've taken like everything out of that park besides Silver Comet. It's like Silver Comet is like the only thing left there. And that is the main attraction of the park. And I think if somebody would buy that place, which I guess they are looking for a buyer still, and there are people that are interested apparently. If somebody does buy that, I think it's going to be contingent on whether or not Silver Comet would stay there. Um, but there, I don't think there's as much hope for Fantasy Island. There is still some hope because Silver Comet is still sitting there. There are people looking at buying the property. I've even heard about like some like carnival owners and stuff trying to like make a permanent place there to like bring a bunch of their rides in. So maybe something like that could happen. I mean, it already kind of had like a carnival feel anyway, where they had like a lot of portable carnival rides and stuff like that. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with Fantasy Island. It's not going to open anytime soon, like Indiana Beach, if it does reopen. But I just figured I would kind of touch on that. Yeah, Apex Parks did go bankrupt. We talked about that on a Coaster Cafe, actually. Coffee's so good. Oh man, so good. All right. Well, I have some trivia questions for you guys. Are you guys ready for trivia? Um, we got all that out of the way. We're stoked about Indiana Beach, and now I think it's time for some trivia. So, uh, all right, no politics in here, please. Bring it up again, you will be removed. This is not a politics show. So, all right, time for some trivia here. Let's see what we got. Okay, as I've done the past couple live streams, I am going to send you guys a link to whatever I'm talking about in each trivia question. Um, so you guys can kind of follow along. So after I ask the question and we answer it, I'll send you guys a link to a link to what I'm talking about. Let's see, Six Flags is looking to have property in the Northeast. Almost bought a huge plot land of 20 minutes where I live. They instead was okay. I did not know that. We all needed the news about Indiana Beach so we can stop debating when the park should reopen. Yeah, absolutely. The Indiana Beach news is just such a good positive piece of news that we need right now. It's good to have some positive things happening in the industry, and I think whenever we are able to get back to places, we're just going to be like that much more grateful for it, which I think is kind of nice. In a way, it's nice because I think we'll all really appreciate what these parks do. So yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna get going with our trivia questions here. The first trivia question: where was Intamin supposed to build a giga coaster that never came to be? There was supposed to be a big Intamin giga coaster built. It was set back a lot, but it never ended up happening. So where was that at? Where is it supposed to be? Yep, Hyde Park. Rings of Earth. Got the answer. I figured a lot of you would know this. It's yeah, Hyde Park in Germany. Um, they're supposed to build an Intamin Giga Coaster. I'll send you guys a link to this Reddit thread here, which actually has a picture of like the layout that was supposed to be. But it was going to be huge. Actually, they wanted to open it for like 2003, and at the time it would have opened. If it would have opened in 2003, um, it would have been the biggest full circuit coaster in the world. It would have beat Millennium Force's records. It was going to be massive. They wanted it to be like 331 feet tall. So it would have been bigger than Fury 325 actually. Um, and it was going to be a very intense ride. I mean, you look at this layout here, it's very, it's, it seems like Intimidator 305 takes a lot from what this was supposed to be. It has a lot of those low to the ground bank turns and snappy transitions, but it also has like some of like the Millennium Force in there too, like a couple big camelback hills and some turnarounds. It's a really cool looking ride, and then it ends it all with a couple bunny hops at the end for some good airtime. Uh, I believe I saw that. I watched a video or something. I think Theme Park Crazy, where I think he said that Werner Stingel said this is the ride that he wanted Millennium Force to be, I believe. Or no, he said that about Expedition G-Force. Never mind. I'm getting them mixed up. But in any case, this ride looks incredible. And I'm so glad that this ride lives on a little bit in Virginia as Intimidator 305. So, yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah, Rings of Earth, you're right. It was supposed to be close to 400 feet at least, but it had to be changed to 335. And that was one of the setbacks. They had to, I don't remember all the details. I've read about it and stuff, but you can go read about it on your own. But basically, the height had to be shortened. So that set it back a little bit. And then they had to change like the site at one point. And there were all these different setbacks in the planning. And eventually it just never happened. A big reason they wanted to build this ride was so they could have this huge world-class record breaker. But once it got to the point where like Top Thrill Dragster opened in 2003 and it would have no longer been a record breaker, they were still considering at that point for like another 4 years or so. But eventually it just kind of all fell through. And, the economy crashed at one point. I don't know if that affected it at all, but yeah, it just never happened, which is unfortunate. But like Stanford Bridge said, the renovated Colossus is beautiful. That park did renovate their Intamin prefab Woody Colossus, and it looks great, and it really does. So yeah, true coaster lover. Even if it did open in 2003, it wouldn't have held the record for very long, or not hold the record at all. But honestly, even if it wouldn't have opened as the tallest coaster in the world, I mean, would everybody not travel to that park for that? I mean, they could still market that really well, and everybody would want to go to that park. So, all right, we got our next trivia question here. Um, Name two B&M dive coasters that don't feature a 180-degree turn at the top of the lift hill, but instead have a pre-drop and head straight into the main drop. So most dive coasters have a turn before you go down the drop. Two dive coasters that don't have that turn. They just have a pre-drop and then they go straight into the main drop. Not Crake. Baron 1898 is one. Crake is not the other one. Yes, Baron 1898 is one, yes. What is the other one besides Baron 1898? Nope. Not Oblivium, not Valkyria, not Yukon Striker. Those all have turns at the top of the lift hill. So you guys know how most dive coasters, just so you understand the question, I don't know if there's any confusion, but a dive coaster, most dive coasters have the turn after the lift. They go up the lift, they turn, and then they go down the drop. There are two dive coasters that don't have that turn. They just have a small pre-drop and go straight into the main drop. We listed one of them as Baron 1898. That's one. So I'm going to give you guys a link to Baron 98. There's Baron 1898. Yes, Matthias got it. Flying Western Heaven. Well, that's not the exact name, but I think this is what he was alluding to. It's called Flying Apsaras in Western Region, which is in Happy Valley and Sichuan, China. So it's actually a really cool looking ride. It has a really nice color scheme. It's like a purple and teal. It's so cool looking. It's a really cool looking dive coaster. It has a really bland layout though. It doesn't really have any theming. It seems like. I mean, it has a little bit of theming, but it has a really nice color scheme, a super basic layout. Um, but it looks like a pretty decent dive coaster, honestly. It's 164 feet tall, so it's big. Yeah, 6 across, and that opened in 2018. Baron 1898 opened in 2015. So, and if you guys don't know, Baron 1898 is at Efteling in the Netherlands. So, yeah, Baron's theming is phenomenal, and I know everybody says that's what really makes that ride is the theming. So, okay, Stamford Bridge, you enjoyed it. That's good. Much better than you expected. Yeah, because I mean, looking at it, it's just like it's a little dive coaster. It's only 98 feet tall. It has a 123-foot drop though. But the theming really does look excellent. And I've heard that the smaller dive coasters are actually quite a bit better than the bigger ones. And I could see that, especially watching like footage of Emperor testing. Like the smaller ones just seem a little snappier. They haul a little through the course more. So, all right. Well, that is our trivia. So we have answered our trivia questions. And by the way, the only dive coaster I've been on is Valraven at Cedar Point. A lot of you guys probably know how I feel about Valraven, but it is what it is, I guess. Not a fan of that ride. All right. Well, I guess we can open this up for Q&A now. That was pretty quick. That all went pretty quick today, but there's not a whole lot of news besides the obvious one. Yeah, absolutely. I'll get to the Busch Gardens parks eventually. Shikra and Griffin do look really fun. So yeah, I knew that Airtime Thrills liked Valraven. He said that in his previous videos too. He actually prefers it over Maverick. So um controversial opinion. That's all right though. I respect it. I don't understand it, but I respect his opinion. Um I am not a fan. I find Valraven so it's forceless. To me, it's just forceless. It does nothing. It doesn't really excite me all that much. There are like two decent moments on the ride. The zero G roll is kind of overrated. I'm sorry. It's kind of overrated. Um, it just doesn't really do anything. It doesn't. So yeah, it's so weak. Stamford Bridge, I could definitely see that. I definitely believe it's the weakest one. I could see it being the weakest dive coaster, or at least one of the weakest in the world. Uh, and I know it's a big GP pleaser, and it is nice that it has a huge capacity. They can crank people through on that ride. It's popular, and it's very intimidating looking. Just looking at it, it's a beautiful looking ride, and it's very intimidating. You're looking straight up 223 feet in the air, and you see it hanging over the edge. It is really intimidating. But besides that, it doesn't. Like, I don't even think the main drop is that good. Like, the main drop is all right. That's one of the decent moments on the ride. My favorite part is actually the drop off the mid course. That part is really good, actually. I love that drop off the mid course. Nice pop of airtime. And it's just like so abrupt. I love it. Yeah, Griffin and Sheikah really do look like pretty solid rides. They do. I know they have the old shoulder restraint, so they probably have quite a bit more airtime. I know you said Sheikah is pure airtime on that drop. So would I prefer Valraven if it had the other restraints? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it probably would be better. I don't know how much better it would be though, to be honest. I mean, it just doesn't have any like theming going for it. It doesn't have a splashdown. It just doesn't have anything. Not a tunnel, not anything. It doesn't dive into the ground like many dive coasters do. It doesn't have a splashdown. Really doesn't have any theming. So there's not really much going for it. It's just a pretty looking ride that does nothing. And I just don't understand. Like, I hear people call Gatekeeper forceless, which is it's not that intense of a ride, but it actually has a couple legitimately forceful moments on it. Um, you know, I love Gatekeeper. I think it has a couple moments of decent force. It's a very fun ride. To me, Valraven just does nothing and it's forceless. To me, Valraven is forceless. Like I feel nothing on that ride. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Damo Coaster. Yeah, that wing over drop is amazing. It really is. And I actually gray out a little bit at the bottom of that drop. Like the bottom of the wing over drop and going into the Emmelman, it's so forceful right there. I love that. It's so forceful. I gray out like every time on that. Yeah, Valraven really is pointless at Cedar Point. You're right. It just doesn't fit in. It just there's not really any reason for it, to be honest. Give it to Michigan's Adventure. It'd be great there. Honestly. Yeah, I do prefer the left side on the wing coasters. I do prefer the left side. Yeah. Well, the thing about Valraven too, not only was it filler, but I mean it was filler, but they also really needed something right away. That was originally supposed to go to Canada's Wonderland, and they canceled those plans, sent the dive coaster to Cedar Point real quick because Cedar Point really needed a boost in attendance like really quick. So Yukon Striker got put on hold, and then Cedar Point got Valraven. So I have doubts about American Eagle being RMC'd because of regulations with it being by the road and construction in that area. So I don't know. See, Coaster Lover says, I personally prefer Valraven over Gatekeeper. I find Gatekeeper to be rather forceless, but that's okay. It's a pretty fun and enjoyable coaster. All right, yeah, I respect it. People feel forces differently and stuff like that. And I'm sure for some people, Valraven probably is a more forceful ride, but it doesn't change my opinion that for me, it just doesn't do anything. I just don't enjoy it that much. I wish I did, but it's kind of just a do nothing coaster, you know? Let's see. Hey, what's up, Cedar Flags? How's it going? Top 10 filler coasters. What coaster do I think GCI will give the Ghost Rider treatment to next? I don't know. Hopefully Wildcat, maybe. Wildcat at Hershey Park. Give it to one of their own coasters. I've heard bad things about that ride, and it's the first GCI. Has a good layout, though. So maybe that. Or even Aurora at Six Flags America. If they don't want to buy Six Flags America a new coaster. CT Coaster said a 200-foot coaster with a 90-degree drop was literally filler for a 200-foot coaster with a 90-degree drop. Yeah, you got that right. It's just crazy to think like a park like Cedar Point, their filler coaster is a 223-foot tall ride. That's crazy. Would I rather ride Coaster Through the Clouds or Dodonpa? Coaster Through the Clouds. It just looks like a better all-around ride, but I really want to experience Dodonpa, so it's definitely a bucket list ride for me. See, I'm hoping Megaphobia at Oakwood Wales. It's a CCI coaster which needs treatment. Yeah, that's Megaphobia is actually a clone of Rampage at Alabama Splash Adventure or whatever it's called, and looks like a great ride, but apparently it needs a treatment. I haven't heard anything about that one specifically, so yeah, Stamford Bridge. That is one good point. An RMC right next to an RMC, Six Flags Great America, would be kind of redundant. So I don't know how they would pull that off exactly from a marketing perspective. Sorry to hear that, Coaster Lover. Your graduation has been canceled. That really sucks. Shout out to all you in the class of 2020. I know you guys don't get to get a ceremony and celebrate and everything like that. So shout outs to you guys. Class of 2020. Raise a glass. Hopefully you guys get to at least ride a few coasters this year. So let's see. Damo says, I want Thorpe's next coaster to be a ground up wooden RMC or a ground up hybrid. It'd be the first of either in the UK. Yeah, I know a lot of people want that RMC at Thorpe Park. I hope it happens for you guys. I hope it happens. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. So, see, Cedar Point just getting Valraven as a roller coaster. Michigan's Adventure haven't gotten anything in years. Yep, that's how it goes, unfortunately. Yeah, Demo. Megaphobia. Yeah, it's a clone. And it could be the other way around. Megaphobia might have come first, actually. I can't remember for sure, but they both opened around the same time in the 90s, both by CCI. But yeah, Megaphobia and Rampage, they're clones of each other. So, let's see. CT Coaster says it's weird how height looks different in different places. Superman the Ride at Six Flags New England looks a lot taller than Valraven when you're there, but Valraven is 20 feet taller. Yeah, and it just all has to do with your surroundings, you know. Six Flags New England, that just like dwarfs pretty much everything there. So, oh, okay. Cedar Flag says my graduation has been postponed for now, but the governor is saying it'll be postponed. Okay, all right. And you're from Ohio too, so see, Scotland desperately needs a new park with new top coasters since they have one park and their largest coaster is a huge double looping Pinfari. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Stamford Bridge brings up something good. Um, and that's my fault. I did see this news, but I kind of forgot about it. And I got all my news from Screamscape, and it wasn't on there either. So I forgot to put this in there. M&D's is going into administration, I guess basically meaning they're closing. That's how I understand it. So M&D in Scotland is going to administration. So people are going to be losing jobs. So this is what Stamford Bridge says. M&D is going into administration didn't make your news rundown. Aside from the loss of jobs, which is sad, a lot of Brits don't think it's that big a loss. We'll see if the park survives in any form. So yeah, that's I don't know much about the park. I know it was like a smaller. I seen Theme Park Worldwide's vlog about it, and the video he did a couple days ago discussing it. So that really sucks. It really sucks. It just does. I have not been to Coney Island, so no, haven't heard in Python. Yeah, absolutely, Damo. I feel, I feel for the people in that area. Yes, RMC Wolverine Wildcat, please. I would love to see that. Okay, Stanford Bird says administration is like Chapter 11 filing for bankruptcy. Okay, did not know that. Good info. So it's like the restructuring, I guess. Then, like we've seen places do here in America. Oh, Rampaging Rick's going live at 1 p.m. today. That's right. I did see something about that. Yeah, thanks for the reminder. Yes, Cedar Flags. Yes, do an RMC Wolverine Wildcat. I would love to see that. CT Coasters was in the background of a theme park worldwide video. Which video was it? Yeah, exactly, Damo. M&D's was a permanent fair, basically. Still sad to see it go. It was a pretty nice looking place, but yeah, it was basically like a permanent fair. I have heard of Creeley. I've seen a video there. I think I watched Sean's vlog of that like a long time ago. Hey, Coaster Hour, what's up? How you doing today? Guys, go check out Coaster Hour. If you don't know his channel, go check him out. See, Python is a Pinfari kitty coaster. That's awful because it's outdated and super uncomfortable. Yeah, it might be the end of M&D's. Very well could be. Who knows? I don't know a whole lot about that park, so I can't really speak to it much. Okay, CT Coasters was in the Six Flags New England vlog when he was talking about Thunderbolt. Nice. Okay. Doing pretty good. Good to hear. Good to hear. Nice glass. Thank you. Thank you. I love my Maverick mug. Or if you were talking about this, I also have this Coney Island Brewing Company glass that I use for my water. It has like the silhouette of like the coaster and the one swing ride here. So pretty cool. Yeah, absolutely. You need another park with B&Ms in the UK. I agree. And Damo Coaster, let me ask you about Thorpe Park. What do you think about Thorpe Park? Because I've heard a lot of really mixed things about it. And I feel like it's kind of like they don't know what they want to do with the park. And it's just kind of like getting by. Like it looks like it has so much potential that is just not being put to use. So there's a park called Big Sheep. Nice. Nice. I'm gonna look that park up. Let's look up Big Sheep. All right, they have one coaster called Rampage. It's a family zero coaster. Wow. That's actually a pretty fun looking little family ride there. Nothing spectacular, but pretty fun looking. It's 48 feet tall. Doesn't look that tall, but yeah, 48 feet tall. Wow. Big Sheep. I don't know about all those events, Coaster Lover. I couldn't tell you. Let's see. I have no idea what Curly's next coaster would be. I can't even remember what they have. I think it's just like a small, like permanent fair type of place, if I remember right. Coaster Hour says, you know something crazy I found out. I absolutely agree. Yeah, there's only like 180, roughly 180 operating wooden coasters left in the world, which is really sad. And there are still continuing to be built, but surely more will close over the years, unfortunately. And I'm sure we will see a couple more RMC conversions at least. Um, the thing is, like, the RMC conversions have basically all been done to rides that are just terrible. They're just terrible rides. So they needed that conversion. But I'm a huge fan of wooden coasters. I love wooden coasters. And I want to see as many of them stick around as possible. And I want to see many, many more being built. So, and I think, Coaster Hour, I think RMC wants to do ground up stuff anyway. I mean, even with Iron Gwazi, like technically it's a conversion, but they use so little of Gwazi structure. That's basically a ground up coaster. Like in all honesty, it's pretty much entirely ground up almost, like 75%. Damo says Thorpe is nice, has good charm, 5 good coasters, which would be small in the US. Mainly Inferno since it's not over 100 feet and it's invert. Okay. I think Nemesis Inferno looks like a pretty good ride, actually. There are 186 Woodies. Okay, that's good. So more than 180. That's good. I think you'll enjoy the classic Woodies at Blackpool. I'm sure I would. I probably would enjoy them. See, Roar at Discovery Kingdom was a very solid ride, but it's better as Joker. Okay. Haven't ridden. I haven't ridden either of those, the Roars. So, have I seen Coaster Scoop? Yes, I have. Let's see. Mr. Roller Coaster has a hot take here. He prefers Nemesis Inferno to Nemesis at Alton. Okay. Can you tell us why? Like, why do you prefer it personally? I think both of them look fantastic. Nemesis Inferno looks like a really underrated coaster, I think, and I think Nemesis just looks like one of the best out there. So yeah, Grizzly at California's Great America that needs RMC. Absolutely. See, Damo says Inferno is a good ride, but it feels like it could have been much more. It was their second largest coaster. Absolutely. I can see where you're coming from there. Definitely. Let's see. Iman says you'd really like Yankee Cannonball at Canopy Lake Park in New Hampshire. Yeah, that looks like a fun ride. I would definitely love to ride that just as with pretty much any wooden coaster out there. So, do I think Blue Fire or Superman Ride of Steel looks better? Superman. See, the Six Flags America Roar was awful. Second worst GCI Woody only had a Wildcat and Hershey. Okay, wow. Damo Coaster says, I feel a B&M Hyper and RMC can make Thorpe have a better collection than Alton. I agree. I would agree with you there. Maybe even better than Hyde Park. Maybe. Because I would say Hyde Park probably has like the best coaster collection out of all the Merlin parks right now. Cedar Flags has a hot take. He says Millie is better than Fury, and he has ridden both of them. So I would disagree personally. I prefer Fury. Millennium is in like right at the bottom of my top 10, or it's number 11, something like that. But I love both rides. I love Millennium Force. So there are some dead moments on Fury 325. Like when you get to the Helix, like that just does nothing really. So Damo says the original Nemesis can be rough, but is still intense. It looks like such an intense ride. It looks really intense. There are enthusiasts whose quest is to ride all the Woodies in the world. I'm sure some have done it. Most are in the US. Okay. Yeah, yeah. I would definitely like to ride all of them. Let's see. Ethan says, have you noticed the sound at the bottom of the first drop of Diamondback at Kings Island? I love that sound. I don't think I have. Mystic Timbers is greater than the Voyage. That's what Coaster Lover says. I'd have to disagree, but I could see, respect. I mean, Mystic Timbers is fantastic. So Deshwar as Karanon is probably the best Grosslauer. I would say it definitely is. Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand that either, Damo. why Hyde Park has a clone of Rita. Like, why? I mean, probably just because it was so cheap. They already worked with Intamin. The same company worked with Intamin, designed Rita, so it's probably just easy and cheap for them just to say, "Hey, give us another one of those," you know? But I don't really understand it. I feel like Desert Race is less out of place though at Hyde Park than Rita is at Alton Towers, so at least there's that. Mr. Roller Coaster says Nemesis at Alton Towers is only my sixth favorite coaster at the park. Wow, that's crazy. Coaster Pro today says unpopular opinion. Wicker Man looks better than Mystic Timbers. Wicker Man looks like a fantastic ride. I wouldn't say it's better probably, but it looks awesome. Ethan, are you talking about the B&M Roar? If you're talking about the B&M Roar, I've heard that, but I don't know. My favorite coaster sound, I love the aerodynamics lift hill sound like on Magnum, and the B&M Roar. So Stanford Birch says Desert Race has a hilarious soundtrack. I'll have to check it out. Straight out of an 80s action movie. Absolutely. Replace Rita with something like Maverick. Definitely. And they could do something like Maverick, but just keep it low to the ground, you know, so it doesn't go over the trees. Just have like a low to the ground launch like Rita does. Maybe even reuse the launch from Rita if they're able to do that. Like repurpose that launch and turn it into a low to the ground like Blitz coaster. I don't know. And that's kind of what it is now, I guess, but it could be so much better. Hmm. I have no idea who will get the first RMC T-Rex. There are so many parks that could get one. Damo Coaster's favorite sound is the B&M Roar or Intamin hydraulic launch. Yeah, that's a good one. The hydraulic launch. See, Coaster Hour says Energylandia or Cedar Point, I think, might get the first T-Rex. I could see that. I do think it'll be a big park. It'll be a big park that gets one of those. So let's see. Oh yeah, I was gonna look up the Desert Race soundtrack, see if it's online. Here we go. Desert Race soundtrack. Yeah, Comet at Great Escape looks amazing. I really want to ride that. I agree. Yeah, they don't have to be 500 feet. No way. I still think a bigger park will probably get one first, though. Yeah, they don't have to be 500 feet. No way. They probably won't be. I mean, I don't know. This soundtrack. I love it. Yeah, that is straight out of an 80s action movie. I see where you're coming from. Kings Island RMC the Beast. I highly disagree with that. I guess Millennium Force. I don't know. I guess that's my favorite soundtrack. I know it's basic, but it's good. Yeah, I think Thorpe Park could definitely use a good front gate coaster for sure. The front gate, I've seen pictures, is just kind of underwhelming. It just, I don't know. Yeah, Cardan soundtrack is good. I think I've listened to that before. Yeah, that's a solid one. What RMC do I think will get RMC'd first? uh, Terran has a good soundtrack. Okay, I don't think I've heard that. Most anticipated European coaster. Man, most anticipated European coaster. Mm, I'll have to think about that. Expedition G-Force. I don't know. I have not ridden Mako. No. Best park entrance I've ever seen in person or online. And Stanford Bridge says for him it has to be Efteling. Um, I know I've seen some really good ones, but honestly, I can't remember them. I feel like Energylandia has a really good entrance, but I don't think it's the best. Is it Toverland that has a really good entrance? I know I've seen some really good entrances online. I'm looking. Um, yeah, Toverland has a nice entrance. See, Europa Park. Europa Park has a really nice entrance, actually. I really like theirs. Yeah, as far as what I've seen in person, I would say Carowinds is my favorite. Coaster Hour says the name New Texas Giant really annoys me since it's not really that new anymore. I agree. I don't think they should have called it that. They should have went with a completely different name. Kings Island's Gate absolutely needs an upgrade so bad, and so does King's Dominion. They do not look that good. Magic Mountain entrance, yeah, that one's pretty good. Islands of Adventures entrance, okay. I'm sure that one's amazing. I can't remember what it looks like, but I'm sure it's fantastic. Hansa Park's entrance, okay. Let me look at Hansa Park here. Maybe that's one I was thinking of. Hansa Park. Let's see. Oh yeah, that entrance is really nice actually. I'll go with Hansa Park. Yeah, that's a good one. Twisted Giant, that could have worked for Six Flags, yeah. They should have gone with Iron Texas Giant or Twisted Texas Giant or Wicked Texas Giant. Those are all a mouthful. Twisted Giant would have been fine, I think. Would have done the job just fine, I guess. Oh yeah, Iron Giant's the name for a movie. That's true. Yep, you're right. I've never been to Silverwood, but I would love to go there. Yes. Those wooden coasters look amazing. See, the theming all over Hansa is fantastic, almost on level with Disney and Fantasyland. Wow. I mean, yeah, looking at the pictures, Hansa Park does look really fantastic. It looks phenomenal. So I can see where you're coming from. What coaster do I most want to go on at Thorpe Park? Raptor, or no, the Swarm. The Swarm. Sorry. I think Cedar Point's 2021 plans will still happen. I think a lot of parks' 2021 plans will still happen, probably, even if they have to alter them a bit. It'll be 2022 where we really feel the effects, I think. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to end this now. Thank you guys so much for joining my live stream today. And as usual, you can catch me next Saturday at 12 p.m. for episode 17 of Coaster Cafe. It's crazy that this is episode 16 already. But thank you guys so much for watching and continuing to support me. You guys are the best. So once again, thanks for joining, and I will see you guys next time. You guys have a good one. All right. Stay safe, stay healthy. I'll catch you guys next time.